What's up guys, it's ScoopMan5000. Today we're continuing on with the DC Multiverse wave. We're looking at the DC Rebirth, The Flash. And yesterday we did the Joker. I said I ordered him online at GameStop. For the Flash, I actually missed the GameStop online, but instead I actually found him in my GameStop locally. But they all kind of showed up around the same time for me to get these reviews out. But here you can see it's the standard DC Multiverse box. But what they're starting to do with these figures is actually pose them pre-posed in the packaging, and in most cases that's a good thing, I think, because it just kind of stands out more when you're in a Walmart or Target or GameStop. But there is one issue with that we'll get into with the figure. But you can see for the window, you see everything you're going to get in the box. On the side it says The Flash with a continuation of the window, and then on the other, The Flash DC Rebirth. On the back, you could see that DC Rebirth Flash artwork, as well as the Dark Knight's Metal Wave and the Azrael figure on the bottom. And this is where the barcode would be, but you can see the GameStop sticker is here. So with that out of the way, let's get to it. Let's bust open the Flash. And with the DC Multiverse, you're always going to get the trading card and the figure stand. For the trading card, it's that same Rebirth artwork. It'd be really cool to get more of these characters like Captain Cold, Wally West, and Godspeed over here especially. When you go on the back, you can see this is from the Flash #1 in 2016, and the read-up says, "In a freak accident, forensic scientist Barry Allen was struck by lightning and doused with chemicals, which gave him the superpowers of the Speed Force. Now he uses these powers to defend his hometown of Central City and the rest of the world from the forces of evil as the Flash, the fastest man alive, can run up the sides of buildings across oceans and around the world at light speed. He can also vibrate his molecules to phase through solid objects." So an origin that's very much in line with the TV show that was popular around when this comic was out. And then that leaves us with the figure himself, and you can see I got him tricked out with all these other accessories. So it's really just a bunch of effects that can be attached to him to create this lightning effects. You got one on the back, you got some on the legs, on the arms, and then also this one I didn't know what to do with at first, but I think this is it. It goes on the bottom of the foot kinda, so it gives it that effect. And these are cool, not something I think I'm gonna display with really just because of real estate purposes, but nonetheless a cool feature. And that leaves us with the Flash figure, and you could see what I was talking about with the packaging and how he was posed. That means when you get him vanilla or in any other poses really that don't have the leg up, you could see it kind of warped the bottom of the trunks here. But I have seen that people have been either heating this up or just letting it stand and it kind of corrects itself, but that is worth note. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and take a closer look. So you get a nice smirking head sculpt on this, and I'm pretty sure that this Flash figure is going to be released with the Red Death. And with that, we're going to be getting a different head sculpt. But for now, we got this one, a nice smirk. I think it fits the personality of the Flash. It's kind of that younger look, kind of inspired by the TV show a little bit because that was popular when Rebirth was popular. So it's got a pretty similar shape to that. There's some sculpted seam lines up here on the helmet, and then you get some yellow paint going across to create these lightning bolts. And speaking of which, you got two big ones coming out his ears. You can see they're pretty large, about the size of his head. They're cast in a soft yellow plastic, and like always with these DC Multiverse figures, the paint is very good. And then getting down to his suit, there's actually a lot more sculpt here than you might expect. You get some kind of texture going on. You can see it up on the shoulders here, again on the arms. On the back you could see it on his shoulder blades, all that. So it looks pretty good overall. It gives him kind of a modern look again to a mostly classic looking costume. His logo is really nice. Outside of it you get some painted yellow lightning. Underneath there's some white, but then on top here it's a whole yellow piece that's actually attached to his torso. And so it actually raises up from the sculpt, and because it's its own piece, it's very solid yellow and looks really good. It honestly is like a focal point of the figure. If you stood him down, that's what you're going to notice first is that logo. So that looks good. On the arms here, you got these gauntlets kind of shaped in. It looks like just painted over, but it does create a good effect. It does kind of even look like gloves over the forearms here. So that's a really nice effect, actually. You can see for the hands, there's one that's a fist. The other one is kind of this swooshing running hand. And I've actually seen a lot of people online complain about this hand, but I don't hate it at all. I think it looks good, you know, when he's in a running pose or something. It'll look fine. The kind of fingers going out like that. That reads the Flash to me. And the crotch piece, the trunks are that rubber, and that's why there's a bit of warping here, because the leg was so high up in the packaging. But otherwise, it continues down that textured look. It goes down the entire side of the suit and the legs. You can see his belt has a nice lightning shape to it. Goes all the way back. The legs look a bit shiny here compared to the rest of them, but not really too bad. And then that goes down into the classic yellow boots, which, you know, some Flash suits, I think New 52 didn't have the yellow boots, but I think you need it. It kind of breaks up the rest of them just being so red. But they look good. They got plenty of sculpt on them. There's some kind of piping design work going on here. I don't even know what to call it, but overall it does create a modern Flash look. So that's about it for in terms of what he looks like. He's simple because he's just in the jumpsuit, but we will go over some articulation now. So the head's on the double ball that we've been getting with most McFarlanes. So he looks up that much and down that much. I think looking up he could have gone a little bit more because he is like a running character. Of course he gets all kinds of tilt on the head as well. The torso is on some double balls, so he's going back all the way back and then forward pretty decent. Now the butterflies on these McFarlanes haven't always been great, but I'd rather have it than not, I guess. Otherwise he's got the hinge and swivel at the shoulder. He's got the upper bicep cut, double jointed elbow, goes all the way, and then the McFarlane ball joints at the hands. He's got the McFarlane leg system. With that, he's kicking back that much. It has to go out a bit because of the trunk sculpt. He's going out that much and forward that much all the way. But again, you're going to warp your trunks when you do that. He's got the double joint. Then he's got the McFarlane ball joints at the feet and then the toe hinge. And I'm noticing here these pins in the toe joints look like metal or something. I don't know if I just haven't noticed that with the rest of these Multiverse figures, or I'm thinking they kind of made these extra supportive so that way he can do those running poses and be leaning on the toe. But overall, that's going to do it for the Flash. So now let's go ahead and compare him to some other McFarlane DC figures. And I had to start out with the Justice League. So here's the Detective Comics and the Action Comics 1000 for Batman and Superman. And we definitely need Green Lantern, we definitely need Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and then you can bring in Martian Manhunter, and you can go even more obscure and bring in a whole bunch of Justice Leaguers, Green Arrow, Black Canary. So I get where people are coming from when they're saying we got too many Batmans, because as much as I love Batman, this is really cool, a great display already, but we got to continue with this. We got to get some more Justice League characters, especially a comic book Wonder Woman, because that should have been in wave 1. And to actually step away from McFarlane for a second, I wanted to see this Flash next to the neck of Green Lantern. And I honestly probably should have brought in my Jon Stewart to represent the cartoon. But again, it just makes me want a proper McFarlane Green Lantern to go along with this pretty good Flash. And here he is with the DCAU figures from McFarlane. We got the Green Lantern Jon Stewart, as well as the Superman animated series. In terms of the scale, he's weirdly taller than them, even though these figures are pretty tall to begin with. But also, this kind of highlights that they started these DC animated figures, and the Flash is part of that team. Technically, that one's Wally West, and this is Barry Allen. But, like, why are we getting this version before we haven't completed the animated Justice League? Things like that. I just hope that we can get some completed teams, so in another wave, we'll get maybe a comic book Green Lantern, and then an animated Flash, just so we could flesh out these teams that McFarlane is creating. And then we'll go ahead and bring in the Joker from the same wave that we just took a look at, and some really awesome, vibrant colors on these two, a much needed change, and a very welcome splash of color to this McFarlane lineup with these two, and then why not, we'll bring in the Devastator. And overall, that's going to do it for your look at the Rebirth Flash, and overall, a great addition to McFarlane, and a lineup of the Justice League is forming. And so far, that's 2 for 2 on this wave of some really solid figures, and we're going to finish the wave off with Cyborg later in the week. But for now, let me know what you think of this Flash figure. I found mine in GameStop. Let me know if you guys are going to pick him up, if you're excited about him. I'm going to be posting some figure photography of this guy and some other figures over at Instagram, scoopman_5000. And I'm going to be leaving some photos at the end of this video. So if you're a fan of these reviews, you know where to stay right here on the channel. And until next time, I'll see you guys in the next action figure review.